Mani Mahama any din komo enra na jo Obekane say 120 days social contract with Ghanaians. Obekane say so far so good.
And it's any day they Becca says so far so good because yeah draw exam questions MI and yeah what your marking scheme. Say it me ni say ya yakuma beto ye say ampa de ye say bo say be no yetimi aye nti wow say speech no and all the highlights from sorry why obi.
Oh, okay. But among for a busa bibi edefa eye se and some more kan ye ede efa eye galamsey ho among for if he say president ka say 7 out of eye 9 forest reserve yetimi a recover binum fi say ho dey as president sam review omu no say ntesa. Hello, Samima. Oh, Samima intimi enyina so na yene Samima Muslim deputy presidential spokesperson and na edi enkomo efa 120 days social contract of the president and na ye di ho nkomo kakra no na ye hwe adwuma no ne sene so far baby awomo ababedo President John Dramani Mahama enra ensem obobo so no okasai edifa 24-hour economy okasa wo share ho bo okasai edifa galamsey okase se Ghana for the 2 million manua within a year 4 months obehwe ama yetimi etuase okasa edifa yenua ameswale okasa ede efa ho Samima line drop
Yes, I'm back. Untinamika says so far so good. Yeah, make we had put together a list of all the 25 promises, no. And I access who said of the 25, no. At least 20 there, yeah, completely. And at 5 now, remain. No, even as at yesterday, the president even gave us new information in his speech. Say of the 5, no, 3 more had gone far by way of progress. So, until OSHA, we are left with 2 issues that are in progress. Over COVID-19 levy, no, in particular. Explanation now, and say. Of course, initiated the process to remove it, but a process because we are in an IMF program. We are in an IMF program, and the program gives us a time frame. To be able to sort that problem of removing the COVID-19 from the tax from our tax system, because there's a link to our entire VAT system. It is abolition is this year. It will distort our VAT system, and then it will have implications for the revenue targets agreed on under the IMF program. And say a process. And even though we have initiated the program, it will be by the end of the year that we can finally take it off our books. So Galamsey 5, no. OSHA, Galamsey 5 is not an end, a process.
Yes.
So within 120 days, no, we wanted to prove to the people of Ghana, say, the leadership, our commitment, the approach to the fight would be seen tangibly. And for that, we have achieved it. Even though there are recommendations and other expectations that came as a result of what we experienced over the 8 years, Adeakye said, we have an opposition party then. The government then should have declared a state of emergency, and then they should have repealed also the LI 2462. Because after 8 years now, there was enough proof that there was no political commitment. I didn't know, sir. Professor Frimpong Boateng, a minister of the MPP administration, Ebeka said, in the report, said his fight against Galamsey was being curtailed from the highest level, or mention names, or can say excavators 400 CZ Avaneshe. What happened to him? He lost his job. The government then initiated different operations. Operations Calm Life, Operations the three. Now we deployed security. We used taxpayers' money. Say we are going to fight illegal mining in our forest reserves, in our communities, and whatever. After all that money, by the end of Omutena, na Galamsey Ajinsing, the president himself, under the LI 2462, which allowed the mining in forest reserve, the president himself was the one signing leases to allow for mining in forest reserves. So Akunta mining was caught mining illegally in forest reserve. Even when they pointed it out, the president said on air, say Akunta is not engaged in illegal mining. So there was clear indication, say there was no commitment. That is why we agreed with CSOs that no, where we're heading to, we should have a state of emergency and an immediate repeal to remove the power of the president and then the other elements that allowed for the illegal mining. But Yenyen Kunim and Ayaba power. And His Excellency from day one says Galamsey is his top priority. Defense Minister, Interior Minister, all of you sit around the table, ensure a task force is put in place, a joint task force of all our forces and our services. Because a very complex, network of collaborators that has ensured, say, Galamsey Nedrubo. Many every day you report about operations happening in forest reserves.
Yes.
People that we are arresting.
Yes.
Those that we are deporting. Those that we are prosecuting. Every day, your core community, Bidebia community, they had created a whole settlement in the forest, destroying the forest through Galamsey.
Wow.
The entire community was razed down, burnt, and all the people sacked from that community. We are now deploying technology to enforce the regulations and the prevention of continuing illegality in our forest. So you can see real commitment, and we have shown it in this 120 days. Even with the repeal of some sections of the LI 2462, which the president said take the power away from the president to grant licenses to companies to go and mine in forest reserves. It has been repealed, and the president cannot give any company a license to go and operate in the forest reserve. Our second response is that the bigger problem is our Minerals and Mining Act. And no portions we have allowed for this unfettered, mining in our forest reserves. So say a repealing LI, which because we are listening to stakeholders, if they feel that we should still repeal the LI that has been amended, the president is open to it. But meanwhile, he says that even if we repeal that LI, there is a law that allows for mining in forest reserves. So even though we have announced a ban on all illegal mining in forest reserves, we have to amend the Minerals and Mining Act, which is what he has now directed the Attorney General to work on the proposals to amend the Minerals and Mining Act. So we'll have a more robust law that will protect our forests and that will also set up a regime for responsible mining. Because obviously, if we have mineral resources, we cannot say that we will not mine those mineral resources. When other countries have come up with responsible mining approaches using technology that makes it easier to reclaim the land in a faster way or even restore water bodies. What is a no-no for us is that as for the water bodies, there should be a complete ban because the water bodies is the source of life.
Yeah.
And that commitment, Obia fair-minded, will agree that it is in sharp contrast to what we saw in the previous administration.
Sami ma faumra the economy no so amanfo fi say President John Dramani Mahama, the Finance Minister, Bank of Ghana Governor, and the economic team ayade dollar no tetia tete bafom ene enema omo say President say or the share 5th year on farm chef first year kakra na dollar na tete abafom no yen feel enema ni be in our pocket asin say enema bo ewo dwom dollar na bafom but ye ko dwom a we don't feel say dollar number from emra ye koto ebia emo rice ye koto anwa ye koto jene ye koto sane mana ewo ejum ehun se petrol no atete aba from liters no eja atete aba from pa but lorry fares no ye hui njaman for fee say president mfanshe first year kakra na yen starting feeling some of these things in our pocket.
Those expectations are legitimate. And now many Guta rep were on TV3, and Guta rep has accepted the fact that these new indicators are very positive, and that the finance ministry and the government, as a traders union, are having restored confidence in the Ghanaian economy. Or explain this, and say, oh, with all these positive signs we are seeing, inflation and saying about down to 21%.
Yes.
Exchange rate from $1 to 16 in January to $1 to 13. Those are some real forex gains that business would be, raking in. And then more money reflected into the general price reduction of goods and services. And all can say, it is not only forex. We use it to analyze it, whether they must reduce prices or not. Because I see, yes, they accept say way, but we know interest rates no. I will say and more consignments are more under the old exchange rates no. They need to recoup it so that they can restock, and that hopefully when they restock under this new exchange regime, it will reflect in the reduction of prices. But I did challenge him that at least also as a sign of goodwill, they must also let their traders also at least reduce their prices, even if marginally, while they always adopt this wait and see attitude. I'm also say, okay, maybe we will not sustain it. But they say, baby, it can only get better. It can only get better. Almost say a meeting as Guta.
Okay.
And they will consider these proposals because yes, I was saying the citizens must feel this possible because at the end of the day, like I said, the economy is in our pockets.
Yeah.
Campaigning now time to mean now the economy is not in our pockets because all the indicators are positive.
Yeah.
So the economy must come to our pockets.
Okay.
And our stakeholders, and on the government and the key stakeholders in the market must also reflect these positive signs.
Okay.
So the engagements must continue with government and with all these our stakeholders, with the drivers, because we have brought fuel prices down. I didn't respond quickly. As you respond when fuel, increasing fuel prices, the next day more announce transport price increases. So Ghanaians must also call some of these groups to order and also say that fuel prices are above form. I didn't know your transport prices money reflect at least the downward review of our fuel prices. Omobeka said their operational costs is still high. But what is also positive is that maybe price number from back cost. That is also a stabilization mechanism as a result of the positive, signs.
Okay.
And maybe and I say Kopika say or the invoice be for some machine be no or it was a 1 day invoice, but within a week, because of volatility, no. Obeko a German or say price last time increase it extra now cost at least 6 years we are seeing a certain stabilization. Food inflation and no Emma Adriani Bono anything. And imported food products also. Because many of them benchmarked it at the old exchange rate. Almost say so more current stock no and deplete here under the old exchange rates. No. Some more reduce, some more prices are more beboka. This is what the traders are saying. But we are saying that even with that, they can also respond small to the positive signs as a sign of goodwill to governments to also now fast track the other, stabilization measures that will ensure, say, interest rates, no, monetary policy, no, reflect these positive signs. So we are in a good place. As government, no, whilst we continue to engage your stakeholders, no, so that they will also do what is needful. Now prices are back from kakra. But in the meantime, Ghana Obedience said, abolition. It is money in our pockets because this year we don't pay those e-levies. The other betting 10% tax on bet winnings, no. It is money in the direct pockets of those who engage in betting. So there are other ways we have saved the citizen their expenses by not taking money out of their pocket. So they have almost but of course, as a government, more.
Mate Shamima, yedasi anopei, yedasi pa.
Ghana for say, and the and supporting government, no. Mate say MPP for say or demonstration. And I say Ghana for the Motia say propaganda now mo MPP for 38 na yede more mono. Assure mo. And see they be almost a mobile nuisance and a distraction. But Ghana for knows the difference between double standards and integrity. The Omampenya so far, the way he himself is holding his appointees to strict accountability. Then now, or announcing the code of conduct for the appointees. No, he announced a sanction to those who had breached the directive. Say, file or more asset declaration forms by 31st. And they came unprecedented in the history of our fourth republic. President has sanctioned the ministers. For 53 months of their salary for not meeting a deadline. A new era. The same president, like I said, on the dispensation or per se citizens should feel free to express themselves and not have fear, say, after expressing themselves, they will face victimization and even arrest. Because there were a demonstration against this same Galamsey. And an Anekufa donating the government, Emma police for Chiomu, educate cells and held them there for months. Omanpeninjo Mahama traumatizing them for Galamsey. Omanpeninjo Mahama Baye immediately directly Attorney General says they should release all these young people and dismiss the charges against them. Or maybe in Crawford say a political talk. And the MPP for they more organize almost a demonstration. And the more youth first demonstration, say more demonstration against Galamsey. No more feels the police for basa basa. and Kosisa, they had their freedom to express themselves. Who say Uncle you I paid almost say, hey, baby, my tested John Mahama beam. They prove it to Ghana for say John Mahama is not a man of his word. That is the NPP for you.
Almost say in the coming days, mobile press conference, say 120 days social contract and the president.
Assessments be a mobile piano. No more exam. Mwako failure, munya 38%. Also say una munya 38%. No say almost your mobile mark you are mobile mark above almost 38% nana. And so they say mobile